Hey guys, LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. Right now, I would love to talk a little bit about The End of Oak Street. The End of Oak Street is the kind of movie that feels like it was pulled straight out of the 1980s and somehow dropped into 2026. It has the heart of an Amblin adventure, the spectacle of a modern dinosaur movie, and just enough darkness to remind you that these prehistoric creatures are, in fact, giant predators. This is the surprise movie of the summer for me. The premise is wonderfully simple. An ordinary suburban street is suddenly transported into prehistoric times, leaving a group of families to figure out how to survive. It's an absurd concept, but the movie wisely doesn't overcomplicate it. The setup is easy to understand, and that simplicity allows the film to focus on what really matters: family, survival, and dinosaurs. Anne Hathaway is excellent as the mother at the center of the story. Her character is determined to keep her family together while trying to navigate an increasingly ridiculous and dangerous situation. There is certainly some girl power messaging here, but thankfully the movie doesn't fall into the trap of suggesting that strength means rejecting traditional relationships. Her desire to protect her family and make her marriage work isn't portrayed as a weakness. In fact, it's part of what makes her character feel human. Ewan McGregor is equally good here. He's funny, relatable, and given some genuinely great moments. His character is a little down on his luck, but he's never portrayed as a loser, an idiot, or an incompetent husband and father. He's a guy who loves his wife and kids and works hard to provide for them. He makes mistakes, particularly when it comes to communicating with his wife, but those mistakes actually make him more relatable. He feels like a real person rather than a stereotypical Hollywood dad. And then there are the dinosaurs. The dinosaur action in End of Oak Street is fantastic. The movie walks a surprisingly fine line between being family-friendly and genuinely frightening. It's rated PG-13, but there are some pretty intense moments, some surprisingly brutal deaths, and several chase sequences that had me thinking, yep, this would definitely have scared the heck out of me as a kid. The dinosaurs themselves look fantastic. I'm still an old-school dinosaur guy, so I'll admit that I prefer my dinosaurs featherless. But even with the more scientifically accurate designs, these creatures are impressive. They look dangerous, they look fast, and most importantly, they're actually used effectively. There are several moments involving the dinosaurs that are genuinely surprising and even horrific. Unfortunately, the movie does have a few weaknesses. The biggest is that outside of the main family, most of the other characters feel incredibly disposable. They're introduced, they serve a purpose for a little while, and then you can practically hear the dinosaurs sharpening their teeth. It makes some of the supporting characters feel less like actual people and more like just future dinosaur food. There is also a subplot involving a dog that's so predictable, you'll probably figure out exactly where it's going almost immediately. And while I enjoyed the kids, overall, they occasionally make decisions that are unbelievably stupid, and you have to wonder what they were thinking. Some of those choices put the entire family in danger, and they felt a little out of character compared with how the kids had been established earlier. But honestly, those flaws didn't take away much from the enjoyment of the movie. What I really loved about The End of Oak Street is how much it feels like classic Spielberg-era Amblin entertainment. It has that perfect combination of adventure, humor, family drama, and genuine danger. It's family-friendly, but it isn't afraid to scare you. It's the kind of movie that I would have absolutely loved watching as a kid, and probably would have scared me at the same time. There's something wonderfully nostalgic about it. It captures the vibe of those 80s adventure movies without simply copying one of them. Most importantly, it feels original. The filmmakers took a ridiculous premise, treated it seriously enough for us to care about the characters, and then filled it with dinosaurs. And that's really all that I wanted out of this. The End of Oak Street is a fantastic dinosaur movie. It's funny, exciting, occasionally scary, surprisingly heartfelt, and packed with some great dinosaur action. It isn't perfect, but it understands something that a lot of modern blockbusters seem to forget. Sometimes the best adventure movie is the one with a simple premise. Characters you care about, and monsters that can, at times, actually bring narrative tension. Thank you for joining me here at the LQ Review. Let me know what you thought of The End of Oak Street down below, and while you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.